Yet another episode of Applied Salesforce. Here I shall walk you through a micro project involving some of the basic concepts around Lightning Web Component centered in component communication. And in order to demonstrate this, I have built an hotel application which essentially mimics the key functions of an hotel. The core aspects that get solidified with the help of this workshop are component composition and communication. It involves child to parent communication, lightning messaging service, conditional rendering, static resources, the use of them, and playing sound, and some of the key Salesforce Lightning design system classes. So without much ado, let's dive in. So we could see this, it's an entire application. It uses three components. The first one is the kitchen component, the second is the restaurant, and third is front office. And the housekeeping function is optional. That's a sibling to kitchen. You could see front office is sibling to kitchen. And inside of the kitchen, I have nested the restaurant component. So there are two key activities that happen. The first one is inside of a restaurant, guests walk in and they are offered a menu. You could see the different menu, different items in the menu, and the guest can choose one. So this is a combo box. Technically this is a combo box, and the menu items. So he can select one. Let's assume he selects soup, and you could see a sound, the phone ringing sound as and when the item is ordered. So this is mimicking a placement of an order. So the order flows from the restaurant, which is a nested child component, into the parent, which is the kitchen, and a sound gets played. Okay, and technically if you look at this, in order to play the sound, you need to upload the sound files inside of the static resource. Okay, and I've done that here. You could see this. Okay, I've uploaded phone sound and alarm sound. It's an MP3 file, and then the communication is from the child to parent via custom events. I will explain the code as we proceed. That's the first activity. The second activity is the emergency button. So the idea is if an incident happens inside of a kitchen, the chef may press the emergency button and the warning message, probably it's a fire, so evacuate immediately. That's the message, has to be blared across components, so including the kitchen component and the front office component. In case if you have additional sibling components, it has to be disseminated to them as well. So let me press this. Okay, that's it. So that's the blaring sounds. Again, the sound file gets uploaded into the static resource technically, and you make use of the audio object and the play method of the audio object to play the sound. Okay, and at the same time you could see this icon, and the message gets automatically displayed. So this is the standard the utility icon, alert icon, and this is a conditional rendering, and this particular message gets, so this acts as both as a publisher component. When you press this button, the kitchen component is a publisher component, and as well as a subscriber. Okay, so and the sibling components are subscribers to the Lightning messaging channel, and the LMS is the backbone of this communication. So we'll see that as far as the code is concerned. And inside of the kitchen, you could see there are, this is the first row inside of the kitchen component, and this is the second row. Okay, the first row has 3 columns, and the first column is for the order status, the order to be displayed, and second column is for the button, and the third column is for the emergency status and the alert message. And the second row has a restaurant component nested. Okay, so let's dive into the code real quick. This is the messaging channel, the construction of it. So that's named emergency message channel, and these are the sound files, mp3 files loaded into static resources. And this one is for the restaurants, pretty straightforward. The restaurant component has a combo box here. Okay, and the food items that should show inside of the combo box, defined as an array of objects. And as and when an item is selected, you have a listener, change listener, which invokes the handle select event handler. And as and when you choose an item, you've seen the sound, right? So that's played using the audio object and the play method of the audio object. So it takes in the sound from the static resource, the reference to the specific sound which is uploaded inside of the static resource. So this completes the restaurant component, and let's look at the kitchen component which nests this restaurant. So this is a kitchen component. It's again, maybe I can choose the VS Code here. The row number 1, the first is the SLDS box, which offers you a border. You could say a border. Okay, so that's because of your SLDS box, and then that's a grid layout. Okay, so whenever you use SLDS grid, it opens up a new row. Okay, so this is row number 1. What you see here at the top, it has column 1, column 2, and column 3. Okay, so column 1, what goes inside the column 1 is whether the order is placed or not. If the order is placed, the order would is true. Okay, that's the property that is this particular condition turns to true, and then you see preparing and the exact order is, you would have chosen oof or egg, then it says preparing egg. Okay, and if it is not, then it just displays waiting for an order from the restaurant. So that's part of the first column. The second column is for the emergency button, and you can say icon name, utility warning, and when the button is pressed, you have the handle emergency event handler being invoked. Now that's this one, right? So the variant is distractive. This reason you see that in deep red. Column number 3 is to show the emergency message, fire, evacuate immediately, and to dynamically also show the alerts. It's an icon from our SLDS library. So this one and this message. Okay, so this message, emergency message, is from your LMS channel, the Lightning Messaging Service channel. We'll see that. So that's it, and this is if there are no emergencies, then it shows no emergencies reported if the emergency button is not pressed. So that that concludes your third column. And the row number 2, because as and when you use SLDS grid, it opens up a new row. This is column number 1 of the new row, and this is where you nest the child component. So child component, let's look at the JavaScript of the child component, restaurant.js. You could see that it dispatches a event. So this event is called order placed. That's the name of the event, and the item that got selected is passed as a value for the detail property. So order placed is what you need to listen to inside of the kitchen component, the JavaScript controller of your kitchen component. Let's look at that. Okay, you're listening to the handle your order placed. Okay, say order placed is what is listened on, and once the order placed event reaches the parent kitchen component, you have an event handler tagged to it. So this gets fired, handle order, and inside of handle order you have the event dot you get the the item which is the exact order, and that gets displayed inside of the kitchen component here. Okay. And when the emergency button is pressed, okay, so when this emergency button is pressed, you have the event handler being called. Okay, and you have this the message that needs to be disseminated to all other components, and this is your this acts as a publisher as well as a subscriber, right? So you are importing it from the message service module, and yes, and use the publish method, give appropriate the parameters. So the message context parameter, the emergency channel, which acts as a reference to your actual LMS channel, and the exact payload that needs to be passed on to other components in the application. And this is for playing the sound. Okay, and you also have the the connected callback lifecycle hook, through which you subscribe to the lightning messaging channel. So as and when the message reaches, you set the show alert to true and the emergency message to the exact message that's being pushed into the channel. Okay, that's the kitchen component. And the front office component, it's again pretty straightforward, very simple. So here it is, if the message is not pushed into the channel, the show alert, it's one of the properties defined. The show alert is going to be false, and if it is false, it shows operation normal, no emergency reported. Okay, I'm refreshing the page. You could say it is waiting for an order and no emergency reported. And you could also see here operation normal, no emergencies reported in the front office. And when the message arrives, you typically set the show alert to true and the emergency message property to the actual message that's pushed into the channel, and then it renders this particular part of the block, right? The block in your markup. Okay, and you can mimic the same the markup and the JS for additional sibling components, like uh, probably you could say uh, room service or housekeeping functions inside of a hotel. And yeah, so what essential features have we covered here? So the component hierarchy, the component composition, nesting of components, child to parent, sibling components, use of custom event, that's important to enable the child to parent communication, lightning messaging service for the components across the components, the sibling components in the app, and static resources for the sound, conditional rendering, and many essential SLDS classes. Okay, and this sums up the briefing on the workshop, the hotel app workshop. Thanks for watching. Take care. Bye bye.